Hey there, I'm Randy Zimnock, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss the benefits of a backup buyer, and I'm going to give you actual story of how I was able to go from one contract cancellation to opening escrow in one day. So I'm going to continue talking about contracts, right? This will kind of tie in with the couple previous episodes where I put a house on the market in an as-is condition, and we created a lot of momentum with our open house, our marketing, and we did get 2 offers on that property within, I think, 4 days, right? So what do you do then? What do you do when you have multiple offers? How do you maneuver through that so you open escrow with one of them and then lock in the other one as a solid backup? Because just in my experience and just the fact of having momentum is crucial in this situation. And that's exactly what happened in this situation that we were selling the house. We got 2 offers. We put one of them in escrow because it was a cash buyer. Of course, we want to take a cash buyer over a buyer with a loan. However, I still don't want to just disqualify all the other buyers because you never know what could happen with the first buyer. And most likely you know this, and maybe you experienced this, not every buyer will close when they open escrow. It happens. Buyers cancel for many different reasons, right? So in this situation, when we got multiple offers, I was leveraging one against the other to first and foremost to get them up in price and also to get the terms better, right? That's my number one goal. When I have 2 offers, then it becomes fun because I could play against the other and get them up, right, on everything. So that's what I did in this situation. I knew deep inside that I'm leaning more towards the cash offer. However, you never know. What if the one with the mortgage can go up by 20, 30 grand and they could shorten their terms so they're competitive with the cash offer? You just never know what could happen. That's like the ultimate time to do it, right? When you have the momentum and the leverage to get both buyers up on price and terms at the same exact time. I already kind of knew where I was heading. So we ended up opening escrow with the cash buyer. However, I continued pressing in for the backup, telling them, hey, listen, please send me your contract with your highest and best. And I worked with them on formulating the terms so they actually become very competitive, even though he knew there was a cash offer on the table, right? So the day we open escrow, we also agreed to lock them in a backup position. Why is that important? Well, backup position, let me tell you what that first means, right? When I sign a backup position addendum, that buyer has the first right of refusal. They actually can decide, okay, if the first escrow falls out, I, as the seller, have to go to this buyer now and allow them to decide if they want to buy the property, and they have the first right of refusal to say yes or no. And in order for you to agree to that as a seller, make sure you obviously agree on the terms of that contract, right? So that's why the terms of that contract are very important, if not even more important than the first one, because you never know what could happen with that first contract, right? They might cancel. And guess what? In this situation, I stayed in communication, right, with the backup buyer, because what happens in that is that they're excited. They're still excited, and they're actually obviously hoping. They're literally sitting there probably like praying, please cancel that contract, right? Fall out. Like they want the first contract to fall out because they want the house. And that's what I want. I want them to be excited. I want them to be just continually to focus in on our house and not go and search for other ones. And in order for me to keep that excitement, I have to communicate continuously with that agent, checking in with them, letting them know and giving them updates so they continue being excited, right? So that's something that is important. Remember, consistent communication with the backup buyer, in most cases, is going to be an agent. So let me tell you now how that happened exactly in our situation. Guess what happened? The first buyer, which was the cash buyer, ended up canceling. They find out that there was a situation on the property that was way too much work for them for whatever plan they had in mind, and they decided to cancel, right? Well, but before we canceled, I made sure that I called the backup buyer, because the first buyer, not necessarily they didn't want the house, they wanted a big credit, right? And we're like, wait a minute, okay, we're not gonna agree to, I think it was like $60,000 credit because of what you found out. And in order for me to feel comfortable canceling, I wanted to make sure that the backup buyer was gonna perform, right? So as I was talking and negotiating the credit with the first buyer that we were in contract with, I was also making sure that the backup is excited and ready to go. So I called them and I was like, listen, here's the information, here's additional information we just got on this property. Please tell your client and let me know if they're going all in on this if we end up canceling. I didn't guarantee that we're canceling, but I just said, hey, we might be canceling. It's looking like it is. And now they were eager and excited to get this house potentially, right? There was no promise yet. So then when he called me back saying, yes, we still want the house, please let us know, can we make this happen? Then I knew, okay, you know what? Now I'm not gonna, we're not gonna issue the credit that they're asking for of $60,000. We're just gonna cancel because we were confident that we're gonna open escrow with this backup buyer that we had there excited, waiting, and confirmed that they are moving forward. So we literally, in the same day, we canceled the contract with this one and we opened escrow, as we call it here, with the second buyer, right? It was so smooth, right? We were like out of this one, into this one, bam, right? That's crucial because, in my opinion, if you don't lock up and again, this has to be a solid backup buyer. You're not just going to lock in anybody, but if it's a solid, excited buyer and you could leverage the momentum to get them up to the price you need and the terms, it will be very difficult for you to do that once you fall out of escrow and put that house on the market and try to build the same momentum again. You'll most likely not get the same offers, or even, imagine this, imagine the first buyer backed out. I did not lock in the backup in a backup position. Then I called them after the first one backed out, and I called, hey, by the way, are you still interested? Most likely, he might come back by saying, wait a minute, why did the other one back out? We're gonna actually maybe come back lower now. My negotiation power goes down. Where in this situation, if they're locked in as a backup, the contract price and the terms are no longer like we already agreed to it. We're not going to renegotiate that, right? They were excited to move forward, and that's why we're able to do it all in one day. And that's how you create a win-win. Analyzing a property before you buy it is obviously very important. However, what I find that most people just do it wrong. And I know that alone, one mistake could cost you tens and thousands of dollars. It could literally cost you your business. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I created a step-by-step property analysis guide sheet to walk you through exactly what to look for to make sure your deal that you're looking at is worth buying. To get the property analysis guide sheet, just go to randyzimnock.com.